Let's talk about some of the things and why they're important to you. What about the cars on the table here?
The cars were when I was in grade 9 and 10, and it was for a mechanics course. So what our thing was build and design little cars that are propelled by CO2. And when we built them, sanded them, painted them, and came up with what we think is a good race design, we actually raced them. So this one, the white one, it didn't do so well because it derailed from the actual course and I got disqualified. But this little red one, I won every single race and I got first place, and I beat Mr. Baker, our teacher, and he wasn't too impressed about that.
That's great. So I see you've also got some cups and goblets and things. Tell us about that.
That's from when I was in grade 10 wood shop, and it's just general woodwork skills, so building shelves, goblets, bowls, and you use the lathe, and that's just pretty much where you set it on a rotating platform, and you take a chisel and you just work out the wood until you find a shape that you like.
So is woodworking something you enjoy?
I really enjoyed the lathe work, and after grade 10 we were kind of looking to maybe possibly even get a lathe just for some things for me to do and just for me to sell too, but never ended up doing it just because it's an expensive pastime, I guess. But yeah, if I could maybe find a career in woodwork, then I'd totally go for it.
Well, I see sports seems to be a big part of what you got going on here. You got mountain biking, you got kayaking, skiing, and soccer. Tell us about sports.
Sports, that's just pretty much who I am. I love getting out and doing things, so by mountain biking I'll hike up a hill and do that maybe 2, 3, 4 times a day as much as I can, and just race down the hill over and over again and just have fun. And we would go with friends. Skiing, I only picked that up in the last 2 years, kind of. That's because my friend got me into it, and I loved it the first year I went, so I decided I have to get some skis and just continuously go with them, and if I can, maybe backcountry, and I don't know, skiing's a blast, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's kind of willing to go out. Kayaking, it's just a relaxing thing. Get to see some things that other people don't get to see because you get to adventure across a lake or maybe down a river, and it's just things that no one gets to go to because they're just so secluded. Soccer, I've done that since I was in grade 2-ish probably. I just find it's a great sport because you can be outside. It's really simple to get into. All you need is a pair of shoes and a ball and you're pretty much set. I don't know, it's a lot of fun. We've got to go to a few little tournaments around the area, so play against Jasper or McBride and Clearwater and places like that, but we haven't gone to anything super high up or professional, but it's just a lot of fun to do in your pastime.
Okay, so one of the things that catches my eye and everybody else's here is this future with the question marks. Is that something, do you have a question about your own future, or are you just putting that out there in general?
That's just me contemplating on what I'd like to do, so I have no idea what I'd actually like to do. My current plan is to stay in the area or maybe go to Jasper or something and just work for the whole year and get money together, and then I'd like to maybe try and have a plan for post-secondary schooling or a trade lined up for just to continue. So we'll see how it goes. Just right now everything's pretty mellow and work.
Great, thanks a lot.
No problem.
So, what's your name, and just start by telling us your name.
Okay. My name is Paul Kizakevich.
So Paul, your display here today, why don't you tell us, we've got shots of everything here, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's on your display?
Well, I pretty much tried to put as much as I could for the things that changed my life, like different aspects, and my future, that so far what I got set up for my future.
Okay, so MacEwan University, you want to do MacEwan? That's what you've decided to do, yeah. And what are you going to be taking there? I'm
going to be taking history, because not many people take history anymore, and I don't want that to be really forgotten.
Is there a specific area of history that's of interest to you, or like Canadian history, American history, Civil War, what kind of stuff?
Well, personally for me, the most interesting I find is medieval Europe, but I would probably take American history or Canadian history for a job here.
So you must be a huge Game of Thrones fan then.
Game of Thrones? No, really Game of Thrones, but Lord of the Rings for sure. Yeah.
And Vikings, going that far back?
Vikings, yes. Definitely a big fan of Vikings.
Okay, what else have you got here?
Well, I'm mostly showing off my job because, like, I work at our family business that my dad made. We build driftwood furniture. And that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of because I got the skills of a woodworker now and I can build furniture and for generations also.
So what kind of furniture do you guys build here?
Mostly rustic cedar driftwood furniture.
So that's not something you're interested in going into the family business and kind of doing that in the future?
Well, I wanted to do history since grade 7, so I wanted to do that for many years. So it isn't something I wanted to just leave right away, but I always thought that I could possibly do history and the family business if I could.
And I see in your past here you've got your former schools, Vegreville and Spruce Grove. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, those are probably, like, I chose those schools because those are big parts of my life, and that I've been in the biggest of cities I lived, and I also lived in the smallest of towns. So, like, for example, Spruce Grove is one of the more bigger towns. Like, I had more resources there and everything. But also in St. Martin's, there were certain life lessons that I couldn't have learned in Spruce Grove that I learned over there. And same goes for here.
And what about these kind of heraldic things you got on your binder here?
Well, these are my coat of arms, my family's coat of arms. And I always thought it would be just interesting to show about my family. And I also didn't want to bring a sword, but they didn't allow me, so.
So that's cool. So you must have done a lot of research to find out about that then?
Yeah, I'd had to do a lot of research. Like, well, my family knew all this. Like, ever since I was a little kid, I've been told about my family back in Poland, our history. Like, our history lasted for like 1,000 years, like, goes back. So there's a lot to talk about. And we also have like our own personal legend also.
What's that? Can you tell us quickly what that is?
Well, this Polish king was riding off to war, but his horse got hit. So this peasant gave him his horse, and in the battle, the peasant lost his leg, but the king then awarded him nobility.
Oh, that's cool. Great. How's your time been here at Belmont Secondary?
It's been good. Yeah, I learned a lot from, like, for example, for history, I didn't have a history class in Spruce Grove. I only had social studies. So I learned a lot more about history, and just there's a lot more resources I never had a woodworking shop before in my old school. So I was really happy for that. Yeah.
Well, best of luck for the future.
Well, for the future, I hope I can, become the person I want to be, really. And, get a job and family, and that's what I hope to be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Darcy Peaver, and I'm graduating a whole year early. I'm actually in grade 11. And my plan is to go into gardening after high school.
All right, well, let me stop and back you up. So first things first, so you're graduating a year early, so how did that happen?
Well, I was able to get all of my English down into one program and get all my electives done all in one semester, and also take work credits as well, so I could catch up. And my mom actually mentioned that to me about like a year or two ago, that I should probably try and get on that because I'm going to want to be done early, because my boyfriend is already out of high school and we've moved out, and yes, I'm already on the roll to being done. So.
Well, that's great. That's quite an achievement for you. So you said at the beginning that your interest is in gardening. So why gardening? Tell us about that.
Well, I just love being outside and with nature. I like taking care of plants. I don't know. It's my passion. I don't know. I have a very good connection with nature, I think. So that's my number one goal, is to be in gardening. I don't know which area yet, because there's just so much that I'd be willing to go into. I want it to be I want it to work around healthy eating and all those lovely things, so I want to learn a lot about that. I'm also interested in the study of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and all those lovely stuff.
So did you take advantage of the garden that was just built here last year?
The garden outside, the greenhouse, actually, yeah, I was in horticulture last year when they were setting it up, and then this year I have the same garden that I did, and yeah, my garden's full of lettuce just like everyone else's, and parsley, and yeah, tomatoes.
What are the things that are important to you on your display here?
Well, my whole family is pretty much on this table, so that's really important to me that I get everyone included. And I have my pets and art, and yeah, it just shows what my passions are mostly and what I'm all about. So
what is the thing on this table that means the most to you, if there's one single thing that you could point to?
Oh my. Wow, that's an interesting question. Besides my phone, right?
Yeah, besides your phone.
All right. Well, I don't... Oh.
So you're going to pick this book?
Yeah, just because it's an encyclopedia of organic gardening. It's got everything on there, so I don't think I'd be able to give that up for anything.
So what are your plans for the future now? You're going to be staying in Valemount, or you're looking to move out of town, or?
Well, for about a year after high school, I'd like to stay for at least a year, and then I'd like to go to university. I'm very interested in going to Fraser Valley University, and yeah, just going to crop management and production.
Well, we need people who can work the land, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something that's going to be taken away from mechanics. So.
Great, thanks very much. What are some of the things that you've got on your display today?
I got my snowboard here, the one thing nobody asks about. It's my favorite physical activity I like doing. Then I got all the consoles I grew up with, besides this one. I'm collecting because gaming's a big passion of mine. So, and then I got my demo of a game I made right there.
So you programmed this game?
I didn't program it, but I used a program I bought, $100 I think at the time, and I used its assets, and I did edit the script and coded a little bit to change some things up, but nothing like spectacular, nothing, anybody could do that. It's simple.
So what are you thinking about for the future?
I'm thinking about working for a little bit to save up to go to the Vancouver Art Institute to go for game design, and on the table here I got what my curriculum will look like. It's about, I believe, a 1.5 to 2-year course, and I just look forward to it.
Right. So what is it about gaming that interests you? Why do you like it?
I don't know how I could put it into words. I grew up with it. Like I learned how to read because of gaming. Before I was even in elementary school, I knew some reading. I mean, it's because I really grew up with it. I love it it's a passion to me. Yeah, it's simple. I'm repeating myself here, but it's as simple as that. I grew up with it, so.
Okay. So for all those parents out there who said, don't play video games, you're wasting your time, you actually got lots out of it and you're looking to pursue it as a career.
Oh, easily. I want to entertain people with what I help create myself. Just because there have been so many developers. I mean, there's the obvious one that's doing it for a quick buck, because there are those games like that, and then there's games that people actually they have a vision of it, and they want to create that vision, put it on a screen for people to enjoy, and that's something I really want to do.
So how's your time here been at VSF?
A lot of the stuff I need to learn, I unfortunately can't learn here, besides mathematics and English, once I decide this as my career. And physics is not a required, but somewhat recommended. But I'm going to be coming back next year to do that while I'm working. And it's getting me all the essentials I need to go to school again. And it's teaching me about the future, all that talk, the cliche.
Sure. So do you have a good time while you're at school here?
Good enough. I mean, I don't hate it. Here I enjoy coming here because I have friends, and I mean, this semester I only have one class, so I really, even if I did dislike it, I wouldn't have the right to complain because it's one class. And then, yeah, all my friends are here, so, and then what I'm learning is good. I like it.
Excellent. Well, best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Have like a case.
What's on your display today?
Well, it basically has all my artwork and like I took a trip to Ireland, so that's the photos that we took in Ireland. And yeah, basically my interests in the school that I want to go to.
Well, let's kind of go one thing at a time then. So, what are your main interests?
Art. I mainly want to do like ceramics and stuff. I'm thinking of going into tile setting. So yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Great. Well, yeah, there's some beautiful things on here. I'll ask you a little bit about it in a second. And so, how was your trip to Ireland? Let's talk about that.
It was really cool. It was a nice experience, and it was my first time traveling, and I got to go with my dad, and he's very experienced with traveling.
What was the best thing about Ireland?
The Cliffs of Moher. Yeah, it's very windy, and
Okay. So I see photography is another of your interests. Why do you like photography?
it's I don't really know. It's just a hobby that I like to do, and you get out a lot.
What's the favorite picture you've taken that you like the best of all the ones you've done?
I don't have a favorite picture. Like, usually all the pictures that I take, I like them all.
Do you prefer taking people pictures or landscape pictures or nature pictures?
Landscape pictures.
And tell us a little bit about some of the art here. You don't have to pick it up or anything because I've got shots of it, but what is this one and the round one here?
That is a carpet design that we did in art class. And yeah, it's basically like we had to like blend colors together, like on the pick colors on the color wheel, and just kind of like it could be like opposites and just kind of like blend them and use those.
Oh, it's really awesome. It's really quite spectacular, actually, with all the colors and the way they're blended together. I see horses. You've got a horse ceramic and you've got a horse photo. So what's with you and horses?
Well, I own 4 horses, 2 miniatures, and 2 full-grown Morgans. And yeah, I do riding. And the ceramic horse was made for my mom because she's a real horse person.
Okay, nice. And the drum, did you make the drum, or why is the drum important for you?
It kind of shows like it's there because I want to show like the diversity that I have in like art and stuff, and yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to learn how to make a drum.
So you talked about going into perhaps tile making, tile setting. What do you have to go to school for that? Is it a university program that you would go to, and where would you take that?
I'm thinking of going to Emily Carr. It offers a lot of ceramic courses and stuff, and there's not a particular school for tile setting. You have to learn it from someone who knows how to do it. So just kind of like having courses based on tiles and stuff like ceramics, it'll just kind of like help me pursue in a career in that.
Did you have a good time here in high school?
Of course.